Welcome everybody to the 2022 Cadillac CT4-V. Yes, this is the V, so it's a high performance model. This has a 2.7 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that helps it give 320 horsepower, which is really sprightly for a car of this size. Let's see how this car is. The front end is extremely sharp looking. In fact, it stands out on the road. This paint in this orange definitely helps matters. It really stands out against the grays, the blacks and the whites on the road. This is a very good looking car. It has the Onyx package, which is a $5,000 option, which means it's all been de-chromed. So the grille has been blacked and the vents, which are not actually vents, especially the vents on the bumper, they are not vents, they are fake. But yeah, everything else is real. You can look through inside. The big Cadillac logo looks really good as well. I mean, it stands out, and I feel like this new, this new design theme that Cadillac has, these LEDs that go on, they look really good, especially when there are DRLs in the DRL mode. They look really good as well. Overall, Cadillac has smashed it out of the park with the way this car looks from the front. The side profile of the CT4-V is again extremely handsome looking. There's some cuts and creases going on, especially around the shoulder line near the rear, and some cuts and creases on the doors as well. Since this is the Onyx package, everything is blacked out, no chrome. So you've got black elements on the side skirt, black mirrors, black elements around the window, and black 19-inch rims, which look really good. It's an option, these 19-inch, but I think it's an option that should be ticked because it looks really good. The combination of this orange and the black stands out, and the side profile looks really good. The rear of the CT4-V is where things take a little bit of a downward route. The rear, I feel, is not as striking as the front or the side, and I feel like maybe Cadillac sort of got tired designing and then they just gave up the end. The taillights are really funky, but I don't like the cuts and creases of the boot. In fact, if you open the boot, the loading lip is so high, it doesn't make sense. The badging looks pretty plain. I mean, the CT4 and the V look really good, but the all-wheel drive, the AWD logo, looks like Times New Roman. Maybe it could have been presented in a better way. The exhaust tips, even though they look like quad tips, it's just one pipe on each side. So I can't even say they're fully original, which is a bit of a downer because this car does sound really good. The rear diffuser is also blacked out because this is the Onyx package and it looks good. Perhaps the only saving grace in the rear here. Now I'm inside the Cadillac CT4-V and the interior is a lovely place to be. When you sit inside, you realize that Cadillac is General Motors' most premium brand. Everything in here feels so premium. The steering wheel is all leather. You've got fabulous aluminium finish paddle shifters. All the buttons here feel really nice. Aluminium on the steering wheel as well. You've got tons of leather all around, and it just feels really nice. You can spend a lot of time here. There's got some 4 carbon fiber here with cup holders, and you've got controls for the center screen, which has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all the features. The touch response is pretty good. The gear lever is gloss black, feels really nice to hold as well. You got a wireless charger as well. You've got an armrest as well, which opens, which has enough decent storage. This is not gloss black. This is sort of like a matte black finish, so it's easy to keep clean, which is really nice. No fingerprint magnet as well, which is a good addition by Cadillac. Physical buttons for the dual zone AC, cool seats, heated seats, which is again nice addition. And the highlight of the interior, I would say, is the the 12-inch screen. So this is part of the Onyx package. So if you change modes of the car, or if you go into V mode, which there's a direct button on the steering, if you press V mode, then the whole dial just changes and it becomes more aggressive, which focus on the rev counter, and the speedometer becomes digital, and the gear, which gear you're in, which is pretty cool. Obviously, if you do change the modes, if you go to track, if you go into my mode, which is like a customizable mode, you can set exactly what you want. And if you go into tour mode, then it focuses more on the speedometer, the rev meter, the tachometer becomes all digital in the small, but the focus becomes on the speed. Little things like these make the car ambience really nice, and I mean, it's just a joy to sit here and spend time in. The seats are so good. It's adjustable in a lot of ways. The backrest is really nice. The under thigh support is good. Obviously, it's got manual extensions for the under thigh support, which is again a very useful feature, especially for long drives. I can just praise on and on with the way this car feels from the inside. I mean, I just love the way this car feels from the inside. Now I'm in the rear seat of the CT4, and you can see it's not its strong point. Space is a little tight. This driving seat is for my driving position, as you can see. I have just enough knee room, but my foot room is really bad. I mean, if I put my feet under the seat, it's not comfortable. This seat is a little bit more pushed back, and you can see there's even lesser room. There's no panoramic sunroof, so because of the black interior, it feels a little claustrophobic. The windows are on the smaller side, and the window line is really high. The backrest feels a little too upright, and especially if you pull down the armrest with the cup holders, it becomes really tight. It feels like I've been, tied down with a rope inside this seat. The rear seat is not its forte. There's not even any gimmicks, only 2 AC vents. That's about it. Now I'm behind the wheel of the CT4, so let's see how this car drives. Let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 2.7 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces 325 horsepower and about 300 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty healthy. This car does weigh 1.7 tons though, and it has a 10-speed gearbox. Let's see how this car drives. So once you put the gear lever into drive, set off, and it sets off pretty smoothly. So now currently I'm in the softest setting, the easiest setting, which is tour mode. There is more aggressive mode, so there is the V mode, which is, let's be honest, pretty aggressive, and you can hear and feel the car much more in V mode. In tour mode, it's very calm, very relaxed. You can barely tell this car has that much power or it's extremely capable. Feels nice, actually, really comfy. You can hear a bit of the engine. It's not too, intrusive in your driving experience. But if you do put into V mode and the car downshifts a bit and it's eager and it stays in gear, and then once you turn, the steering becomes much more weighty in V mode. Oh, you can hear a bit of a crackle and pop as well. The ride becomes much stiff. This is on 19-inch, and even in tour mode, I would say it's pretty stiff. You can really feel all the bumps and you have to navigate. But as you could hear, in tour mode, you can barely hear the engine, especially only when you rev it really high. But in the V mode, it's just always there. You know that there's a very potent engine under your right foot. It's really nice. The gearbox is, I feel, a little too safe. Like, it always upshifts too early. So I'm doing like 50 kph and it's already put me into 7th gear, which is a little unnecessary. But obviously you can control manually, and it pulls well. Oh, it pulls well. And you're doing crazy speeds before you know it. And this car feels, in track mode, even the brakes become really grabby, and all you need to do is just touch slightly the pedal and the car stops. Honestly, it's a big joy. But yeah, there is downsides to this. You can have a lot of fun, but this means that you would get abysmal fuel economy. Like, I've been averaging 20 liters per 100 in the city. I mean, I've not been driving it like a saint, but you can't drive this car like a saint. I mean, how do you do that? I just can't. And it's just so much fun to, hear the engine, especially when I just downshifted around the red line, 4,000, 5,000, there's slight crackle as well. I like these, factory induced crackles. Nowadays people go for those fake pops and bangs. I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, see that? This downshift's so nice. But yeah, the thing is that there are 10 speeds and it goes up quickly into, 7th, 8th gear. So every time you downshift, you have to like at least flick it twice, thrice. And it feels good. It feels good. It's nice. There's a G meter as well, so you know how much G's you're pulling in each corner. Oh yeah, you can feel that tail dancing. The traction is off because I am in V mode, so the traction lets you slip. Oh, yep, some opposite lock there as well. Too much fun. This car is too much fun. Probably the best there is in its segment. Cadillac has just smashed it out of the park. In conclusion then, the Cadillac CT4-V. Well, personally, I fell in love with the car. There are some downsides, like the ride is really stiff and the fuel economy isn't the best, and I'm not a fan of the way this car looks from the back or the rear seats comfort as well. But there's so much more to it. It's the way this car drives. It's just fabulous. The engine is top notch. It does not sound like a 4-cylinder. It brings the whole drama effect while you're driving, and I think it looks really good from the front compared to its rivals. Lots of things going for it. and at around $62,000 Canadian, I think it's pretty good value for money for what it brings to the table compared to its competition. If I were in the market to buy one, I definitely give this one a very thorough look. Move over, Germans, the Americans are here.